Hey, everybody. This episode of Our Kids Play Hockey is brought to you by our title sponsor, NHL Sense Arena. Look, we all want our kids to succeed in hockey, but let's face it, finding training that's both effective and enjoyable can be a real challenge, and not to mention expensive and a total drain on time, especially if you have to drive to the rink, pay a private instructor. There's so many reasons that money gets spent on this game. But that's where NHL Sense Arena steps in. It's a virtual reality training game that brings the rink into your home that takes off-ice training to a new reality. It's designed to improve hockey sense and IQ, something that's lacking majorly in the game today for both players and goalies. And you get unlimited access to over 100 drills and training plans from top coaches and players that can be played anytime, anywhere, with drills approved by USA Hockey player and goalie development directors. Look, improving mental hockey skills at home has really never been more fun, and any hockey player that uses this is going to have a blast. All right. I've used this before on my own, and it feels like you're so immersed in an arena, you sometimes forget you have a headset on. And again, it's not being on the ice, but it allows you to work on some of these skill sets like scanning, as I said before, hockey IQ, looking around the rink, making the right plays, that getting those repetitions in now as a hockey player are super important for your development. So NHL Sense Arena is giving all the listeners an exclusive offer for $50 off an annual plan when you use our code Hockey Never Stops at checkout. Again, that's Hockey Never Stops. All you got to do is go to hockey.sensearena.com. Again, that's hockey.sensearena.com. Use the code Hockey Never Stops, and you'll save $50 on your annual plan of NHL Sense Arena. Make sure to check that out and enjoy this episode of Our Kids Play Hockey. It's that time of year. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. I want to thank you for joining us today, guys. It's Lee. Welcome to Our Kids Play Hockey. The gang and I today go over some fun, quirky things that we're thankful for around the hockeyverse. We tried to do it in a fun, kind of comedic way, so we know you're going to enjoy this one. A little bit of a shorter episode, so have fun. And also, since Thanksgiving is here, you know what that means. It's gift giving season. So the team and I have put together some great deals for you on OurKidsPlayHockey.com. Check that out, or email us directly at team@OurKidsPlayHockey.com. We'll send them to you. But the idea is we wanted to save you some money, whether you're looking for an individual gift for your hockey player or some great team gifts for your team that are a little bit outside the box. Something different, and great ways to support us, great ways to support the team, yourself, your coaches, your Zamboni drivers, your people that run the rink, your parents, whatever it is. Let us know. We're here for you. But without further ado, let's jump into it. Here's our special Thanksgiving 2022 episode of Our Kids Play Hockey. Hello, hockey friends and families around the world, and welcome to a special Thanksgiving episode of Our Kids Play Hockey. I'm Lee Elias, and I'm joined, as always, by my family on the podcast airwaves, Christy Casciano Burns and Mike Benelli. And we're gonna shake it up a little bit today. We're recording this right now. If you're listening to this, it's the week of Thanksgiving in 2022, and we wanted to do the quintessential what we're thankful for episode with a little bit of a twist. So it's going to be fun. So make sure you keep listening. And we're going to talk about some things that probably don't get enough thanks in the hockey world. And we're going to do it in a little bit of a creative way where I'm going to read a little bit of a monologue, if you will, of thanks. And then we're going to discuss that person or people and talk about why they deserve thanks. You guys ready to just jump into it?
Let's go.
All right. Mike is super.
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right. Here's the first one. Here we go. Thank you, referees who officiate our Mite game at 6:10 a.m. in the cold. You have to stand and watch the bumper car show that is 8U hockey while listening to parents and coaches explain to you what tripping is. You drive 40 miles for $20, so take this tip from us. Have a coffee, enjoy the game, and remember that we appreciate you. Guys, let's be honest. We don't thank officials enough. There's an official shortage right now. We really need to start there in thanking all of the referees, all the linesmen for really just showing up at this point and taking lots of creative suggestions from parents.
Especially, I think the mites. You're right. It is like bumper car hockey.
I watched that one.
Great analogy.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times.
What just happened, right?
Yeah. How many times there is, a kid steps on his stick or something happens, and it's like, what do you want the guy to do? I don't have the highest of standards with mite officiating. It's just just keep the game going. If there's an obvious penalty, call it. It's going to be a penalty shot anyway, but let the kids have fun, right? But there's always one coach or parent a week. It's good. That's tripping.
Oh
That's
my
tripping.
gosh.
It's just like, oh my
Don't
God.
you just love that parent? It's like, are you kidding me? This is a mic game. They're barely skating. Yes, there's going to be tripping there. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
They don't even know the rules fully. They don't know the rules fully. We're yelling at it. I remember last year, we were at a tournament and a kid got injured, for might. So he's down on the ice and there was a breakaway and the ref just kind of immediately blew the whistle, not really paying attention to the breakaway. And I'll never get this dad jumped down 3 flights of the stands. He's, that's bullshit. Like, beep, And I remember all the parents like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And
Lost his mind.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it in that sense. But Mike, might up. Officials, I'd say 90% of officials are doing a pretty good job.
I mean, they're out there. I think you get what you are the level that you're at, right? So if you want pro officials, then you've probably got to play pro. So I mean, it's just what it is. Like I just saw a statistic actually yesterday or today that we have more officials registered now for the second year in a row than ever before, ever. That's great. That means there's a pendulum shift, and somebody's out doing a great job recruiting officials. But more importantly, the organizations and the parents are protecting those officials.
Right.
So I think those numbers are great. That we have so many coming into the pipeline. I can't say that about a lot of sports. So I think bravo for hockey and for protecting the officials as far as, putting them in, not a safe space, but putting them in a place where they feel like they have somebody having their back and that, that everybody is becoming a little more educated on the fact that none of the officials want your kids to get hurt. None of them they don't pick sides. They don't care who wins. But the way you can sway that is to get on their back. And then, maybe things do sway because you're human. You just can't take it anymore.
I'm glad you shared those numbers because I was under the impression, and we have not heard that in our area. We're still hurting for refs. The numbers have dwindled.
Well, I will say it's registered officials. So that means people that have now gone into the pipeline, right? So there must be a lot of young kids getting registered. Maybe they're not ready to, officiate an 18U game, but this is where you have to start. You like Lee said, I mean, let's make it fun. Let's make it a teachable moment at 8U and 10U. Let's try to have some perspective of, we need those young men and women that are wearing stripes when they're 14, 15, 16 years old to continue to grow with our kids so that our kids will have good officials when they get to 18U.
Yeah, and go easy on the young refs, please. Parents, please go easy on them.
Yeah,
and I heard a horror story from this one mom whose son was, reffing a kid's game, and the parents were just brutal, and they just reduced him to tears. And he never went back. He was done. Yeah. I'm done.
That's ridiculous.
And the mom said, I don't blame you. Why would you want to go out there and be berated by these parents and threatened? I mean, that's how bad it got. It's ridiculous. So here it is, Christy, and this could be your next. You'll see this in your next when you're doing your next article for USA Hockey. But USA Hockey has surpassed 27,000 officials today for just the second season ever. Yeah. So that's pretty good.
26,000 of them in Minnesota.
That.
Yeah. Well, they're all in Minnesota, but that's okay. That's okay. We got to lump them all in. That's okay.
No, it's awesome. And look, I'll remind everybody when we had that great episode with Kerry Fraser, one of the greatest refs of all time. He did say, and I say this all the time: you cannot beat the other team and the refs. You can only beat the other team. So keep those refs on your side. I think my only note of this is, maybe lower your expectations a little bit of what a great officiator is. Right? Like my attitude is, I just honestly. I want the bare minimum. Call the obvious things and just do the best you can. I'm not expecting it to be a perfect game. And also remember, officiating is a chance for you to teach accountability and adversity to your kids. They don't win or lose the games. You do. All right. So with that said, our first big thank you goes out to all the referees and the linesmen and the officiating people out there. We really do appreciate you and all you do. I try and shake your hand after every game. I know I tell my teams that as well. Again, not every one of them's great, but I'd say most of them are. And if there's nobody there to ref the game, we're not going to have games. So by necessity, we have to thank you. All right.
And I love that. Just one more thing. If you haven't started that tradition yet, and my daughter's team does this all the time, which I love to see, after they do the handshake line, the fist bumps with each other, the opposing team, they thank the other coach, and then they go right to the refs,
Right.
and they all thank the refs, which I love. So if your team doesn't do that, start that next game.
Yeah, I love the pendulum is swinging, as you said, Chris. That's actually good to hear. All right, let's move on to our next one. Here we go. Thank you, Zamboni driver, for waiting an hour and a half at a time to clean the ice. You may have to tell the last kid to get off the ice every time, or the adult league player not to come on until the doors are closed. You may leave a small sliver of the ice uncut, but please accept this sliver of appreciation from us. Thank you. To the Zamboni drivers everywhere, thank you. You clean the ice for very little appreciation. We're always trying to rush you off. We're always trying to get you on as fast as possible, and no one says thank you for doing the ice. Well, we're saying it. Thank you for doing the ice. Friends.
Yeah, they have quite the personalities, don't they?
Yeah, it's always
I love this one Zamboni driver who had a theme song. So his song would play and he'd come out there, which was "I'm Too Sexy."
That's fantastic.
That was his song. You'd hear that song, "I'm too sexy for my," and there he'd be coming out, and that was his song, and it would be so fun. So yeah, lights flashing, be singing that yards.
Every time the Zam comes
on. There's so much pressure. I mean, coming from a person who's from a family of Zamboni drivers and ice resurfacers, I think that there's a lot of pressure because every little kid's looking at you, everybody's watching, everybody's judging you, wondering why you went through the crease 6 times and you didn't need to, and how come you missed that spot?
Why is the water on behind the net all the time?
Yeah, why do you flood? Why is oh my God, look at the kick plates. This one's higher over here than this one. The Zamboni guys know what he's doing, or we should call them properly the ice resurfacers, because you do have Olympias, you do have Zambonis.
That's true. That's very true.
I will never be able to do that, Mike.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's
Mike, there's
Zamboni.
no song. There's no song called "I Want to Drive the Olympia."
Right. Well, there's a reason
and there's
that,
even a band, the Zambonis, right? So I mean, I can't. No, I'm not going to do it.
You're not wrong, but you're wrong.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help Olympia out here a little bit, but I think it's I think it's like one of those, you think about. I think everybody thinks the engine room guy, the Zamboni guy, does the ice, goes in, fills the tank up, has a cup of coffee, and takes a nap or something. So And well, no, it's a lot going on. There's like they're like Oz. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes when those doors close, and they're really they could be really ornery. They want those doors open right away, and they don't want you back. They don't want you on the ice. They certainly, I think, Lee, you could even add that the Zamboni guy has to get on the ice and get hits in the foot with a puck because some kid decides to rim one out at practice again without when the doors are open. So just be really just like officials. We need our Zamboni drivers.
We do.
So but you're right. I've never met a Zamboni driver who wasn't ornery. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm a Zamboni driver. So there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Just when we needed the explanation.
The point.
Now we get it. Now everybody gets it.
Now we get
it. You're never warm. You're always cold and your feet are wet all the time. You got to
miserable.
It's a 150-pound net. You got to get off the ice and on the ice, and it's a lot of work.
You are the perfect Zamboni driver.
Get off the ice. Get off the ice.
Blowing the horn. Get off the ice.
I remember in college, I had a buddy, and we were really seriously thinking about taking the Zamboni Zamboni job at the rink, because then we'd be able to stay on the ice as much as we want. I remember I turned to him. I said, "Do you understand? We'd never have to sleep again if you get this job, just because we'd be on the ice all the time." But it didn't happen, thank goodness. So
right, and I was lucky. Drivers. And for all you teenagers out there, I learned how to drive. I was driving the machine before I had a license, so it was a great way to learn, how to stay on the road. It was fun experience.
That's a great idea. They're also really good sources of information.
They know everything.
If you want to find out what's going on with a team, the coach, the rink, the organization. Go to the Zamboni driver.
They can tell you the difference between a concrete rink and a sand rink and the brine that's running beneath it and the entire organs of an ice rink. So
there you go.
To all the Zamboni and Olympia ice resurfacers.
Very good, very good.
That didn't flow as well in the way I wrote that. Thank you. Let's move on to our next one. Thank you, random parent that does the score clock because no one else volunteered and you are the only one that knows how to do it. You make analog technology look modern, all while watching your kid from a very small glass box of devotion. They may yell at you to stop or start the clock, but all we want to yell at you is, thanks for being here today. The clock people. Thank you, clock people. I have been to many games of, is someone doing the clock? And then you see, Johnny's dad roll his eyes like, fine, I will do the clock today. It's a trap typically, but honestly, it's a very important role for Mite Up, even if it's no score being kept. Thank you to all the people doing the clock. Thank you.
Thank you, clock people.
And
I promise I won't yell clock.
Right.
Is there any look worse than seeing your coach walking down the hallway? There's nobody assigned to the clock, and the game's going to start in 3 minutes, and every parent just scatters for the hills.
Yes,
it's like,
you're right.
That's another job. It's so, think about how nerve-wracking it is to try to learn how to use the digital clock and figure out how to put, Lee, it's one thing to do an 8U game. Now you got to do, you do a 15U game that has 16 penalties in it, and 2 misconducts, and everybody's in the penalty box. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress. And so, really do a good job of getting, recruit good people, train them, and then keep them.
Well, my other favorite part of the clock, the coach conversation is coaches can get pretty crafty. They know never to be like, hey, can you do the clock today? Or do you know how to use the clock? They don't start with that. They go, hey, where are you sitting today? Where are you? Is your husband or wife here? Oh, you're by yourself. Good. I need you to do the clock today.
And you're not. I don't see it. You're not going to take any pictures today, right? So so I think the one thing I definitely can appreciate too is, for some reason, the people that do the clock, and if they're goalie parents, the goalies always have like some ungodly amount of shots on net. Like, it's like 400 shots on net today. I'm like, how is that even possible?
That one missed the net. It was intended to be.
It was intended to hit the net. My son had to move towards that puck. That's a save.
Hey, just remember, you get 9 goals against on 100 shots. It's still a pretty good save percentage for the night.
You got to bump it up. So, I'd be careful of those. If you have a goalie with a really, really high save percentage, just check to see if the dad is the one doing the clock.
I don't know if this is very telling, but I thought it would be very helpful. I found a great video of how to do the clock, and I shared it on my Facebook page. It didn't get a single like or a single share.
No,
it was the worst post ever.
Because nobody wants to admit it.
That's why we're thanking them. That's why we're thanking them tonight. I can see people scrolling down your page going, nope.
Bye.
I'm gonna. Look, the when hockey stops, the puck hog. Hey, look at this post, the puck hog. This is a good post. There's no story in the puck. That's gonna be the third book, the Puck Hog 3. The dad who was the goalie's father in the Bucks run up. You had 237 shots against.
The search for a good timekeeper. That could be a.
Yeah. Well, listen. Seriously though, to all the parents that do volunteer to do this, thank you. And look, I'll give a shout out to the college student that comes for that $10 at the adult league game that does a horrendous job, but you're there. You pretty much just stop, start, and put the goals up. And you do have to put up with overzealous coaches and players that if you forget to hit start, man, it's the end of the world if you don't let that 3 seconds run off. I don't know. What do you think is worse, Mike? I think it's worse when they don't stop the clock versus starting the clock.
Yeah, because you feel like you're losing time. Like, at least when you don't start the clock, you feel like you're gaining time. It's almost like it's like the daylight savings time in the penalty box. It's just, I get more time. And it was so funny. I always laugh. I always love sitting on the bench and the clock's not running and we're losing, right? And the person forgets to get the clock, and all our parents are screaming at them. I'm like, what are you talking about? Let's just take the time. Right. I don't. What do you mean? This is to our advantage. Don't start the clock. We got more time. Let's use it.
Look, if it's game 7 of the cup final and it's you're leading by 1 goal, I get it, but it's rarely the situation.
Yeah, and then Caitlin brings up a good point too. Is that you got to remember that these guys aren't getting paid. It's so funny when I have to hire a lot of clock people in one of the jobs that I do.
Clock people.
Staffing the staffing and assigning the score clock operator really is like it's a lot of salesmanship. You got to come for the 10:45 game
Right.
at night. And it's
Right.
like, I know it's $25, and after taxes, you're making $3.50, but and gas money, and you got to get there. And there's no, the snack bar is closed. So there's no coffee. You're really, and you got to watch the game. You can't watch like the hockey game on your phone and watch.
Sure you can. What are you talking
Good.
about? I see that all the time.
Do you? Okay. Well, that's
all
that
the
person,
time.
That person
All the
would think.
time.
I got the title for the next horror film, Revenge of the Clock People.
The clock
Right.
people.
Coming back to get
You see the
coming back
taglines?
to get their time back.
Time to turn back time.
That's
Time
great.
stopped. Why? I didn't hit the start button.
That's
No,
great.
Mike, you make a great point. And look, again, we're being kind of sarcastic, but to all of you, thank you. Really, the game doesn't run without any of the people that we've mentioned so far.
Yes.
And
Thank
again,
you,
there's
clock people.
different levels of I'll say experience and different standards for different clock people, but you're all there, and the game won't run without you. I've played in games without a clock, and it's devastating. It's the ref has to go in there, put 20 minutes, 12 seconds, hit start, run out to center ice, and drop the puck by 20, and there's no stoppages in terms of the clock just keeps running.
Well, now they have the automatic ones. So it's another part of our society that we're starting to eliminate, right? Because you can now have handheld,
Really?
wireless clock, timers.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So now you can start and
Oh,
stop
wow.
the clock. Well, we don't want to eliminate scorekeepers, but I think
Okay.
if you have to invest in one of those, and now your referee can get the money for as a scorekeeper and officiating.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see a non old touch control board and maybe get more digital with it, but we'll see what happens.
Can we just get Alexa to do it?
Can you imagine the ref? Alexa, stop the clock.
Stop the clock.
Okay. Do you want to hear music between stoppages?
Yeah.
For $12.99, you can subscribe to Apple,
That's right.
Amazon. Yeah. All
Very
right.
good.
That's brilliant, actually.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I have an Amazon Alexa at home. In fact, she's probably listening to me right now. I better stop. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Thank you, coach, that takes an extra hour after the practice to sit with the kid to teach the game. Your dedication to making sure that the game is more than just a hot shot goal score that you can take credit for helps all of us. Other people may tell you what's the point, but we know the point is that you're a great coach. Thank you. Now, this one's a little bit more of a serious one, but I've always been thankful for this. I've always tried to emulate this. The coaches that go the extra mile, you're not just on and off the ice, really want to give a sincere thank you to you because as the three of us know, typically you don't get the credit where the credit's due with that. And you're not doing it for the recognition. You're doing it for the right reason. So I want to say, and we all want to say, thank you for that. Mike is dumbfounded. No one's ever thanked you, Mike.
Well,
I'm thanking you, Mike.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless only because
Speak.
I'm only speechless because I've just never heard a thank you from that. No, I'm kidding. It's just I think it's you're absolutely
There's a
right.
Starbucks gift card, Mike. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you. Go back to our last episode and get a proper gift. But I do think you're listen, there's the people and the coaches that go above and beyond. There's the coaches that, unfortunately sometimes we look and say, well, is that person doing enough? And they're actually doing way more than 90% of the people that are doing youth sports. So I love anytime an adult will take the time on their own time, is somebody in my book that you need to thank.
Absolutely. And,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Very
Chris,
nice.
I'm sure both your kids have had a coach or two like that along the way.
Oh yeah, great mentors, really good guys to emulate, and good motivators. They can really kind of turn that little switch on the kid. Especially if they seem to be not energized, but they kind of know how to get them to where they need to be to go that extra step. And those are the coaches I admire most. Are the coaches who see your kid's potential. And instead of saying, not my problem. Like, no, you know what? I can bring them to where they need to be and to work with them, to be patient. Patience. Oh my God. Yeah. Patient coaches. I love them.
Yeah, I'll tell you
sometimes,
right now.
sometimes you don't see that a lot in hockey.
Yeah, 8U taught me a lot of patience last year.
God,
what's funny is that patience has now gone across the board. It's not just limited to 8U. But, look, Mike and I were having a great discussion this morning on the coaches site too about coaches in small organizations whose goal is to not leave any kids behind when it comes to coaching, that they enjoy the challenge of the kid who's not succeeding, right? And trying to help that kid, not just cultivating the next Connor McDavid, and then getting to say, I coached that kid. That's the true hidden coaching side of things. And Mike, as you know, these coaches always know more than mom and dad, right? They always know more. If it's your kid, the coach absolutely knows more than your dad, even though your dad told you that yesterday at 3:37 p.m., the exact same message. This guy knows. No, sarcasm aside, it's very hard to coach your own kid, and so we do appreciate
it is.
That.
And I've been fortunate to have been hired by some really high level hockey dads that are high level players that have great skill and great hockey backgrounds that have played at the highest levels, to transmit a message to their kid that's basically the same message. So right. I'm like, well, couldn't you tell him that? Like, well, I could tell him that, but he's not listening to me. So maybe if you tell him, he'll come back to me and say, hey, you know what Coach Pinelli said? And then I can punch him in the head. But I think it's just, it's like, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? I said, I've been saying this for 4 years, and now you're telling me this other coach is telling you that this is the thing we should be doing. I mean, my father, I can vividly remember my father all the time when I was growing up about the need to stop at the net. And I think I had scored, I scored a goal, and one of the coaches like really was so excited for me and said, well, Mike, that's because you've really been working on, getting and stopping at the net. That's where goals are scored. They're not scored in the corner. They're scored at stopping the net. And I had said to my father, I'm like, yeah, wow, it's unbelievable, how much I learned in this game. And I really thought, I mean, I don't know how he didn't stop the car and tell me to walk home from that point on, but but then you start to remember, oh yeah, that's what other good coaches have been telling you. And to Christy's point, finding that individual that can inspire your kid is a blessing. It's really so great. It really is. You can watch a child be with a really good person, and that's inspiring them to want to continue to come to the rink and get better. And that's definitely thanking those people for sure.
Yeah, and I just hope the coaches realize the kind of influence that they have on the kids. And you're so right. I remember my husband was telling Sophia, because she had this terrible habit of, poke checking with just one hand, and she wasn't putting two hands on the stick. And he kept telling her, what? You need two hands on that stick. What is this with a single? That's two hands on the stick. Never listen. A coach told her, hey, you know what? You need two hands. It's like, oh, okay,
genius.
Amazing.
He's a genius.
Wow. Yeah. It's like, what? So yeah, you have an incredible influence on our kids. They listen to you, and they'd always listen to us.
And I'll finish it up with saying this, that at least for the most part, as long as there's not too much ego involved, even with the jokes we're making, when your kid gets it, doesn't really matter who teaches it to them. You're just happy that they got it, whether it's two hands on the stick or going to the net or back checking or any of the other things that you've definitely told your kid. It takes a great coach to be able to do that. And as you said, Christy, inspire them, right? That's really the business, is teaching and inspiring and making them believe in themselves and building that self-esteem. So to really all the coaches out there, thank you. But especially those of you going the extra mile, you know who you are. We're talking to you. Parents that are in your cars driving right now, you know who we're talking about too. Make sure you thank them at the rink. All right, let's go. We got 2 left. I think we're going to like this next one. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for driving the kids everywhere. You may need to fight to get your kid up to go to school every day, but not for the 4:30 a.m. drive to make it across 3 states to a game that, frankly, you don't know how it's going to turn out. Your kids sleep while you drive. So while you may hit many red lights along the way, just know that you get a big green light from us. Thank you. That one's all of us.
That was bad. But I think listen, that is that's absolutely spot on. The parents that get up, get going, are remind your son and daughter. There's a couple of really, really great Instagram people right now that are like imitating their parents and coaches, and I get a kick out of it, only for 2 reasons. Number one, they're funny, but I'm like, oh my god, that is me. Like, I did that. I can't believe it. Like, if I'm gonna take that phone and I'm gonna throw it across the room, or I'm gonna smash that thing, and I but it just gives you the ability to just say, well, listen, all of us, we're all the same. We all fall into these categories of the highs and lows of the hockey season. And you know, moms and dads are important. I mean, they got to be able to get you in there, have the warm clothes on, have you remind you that you probably need some clean gear every now and then, and you know, and fuel you up before your game. And I love the fact that when you could be in a car with a child that, and they can end the road trip and say, "Wow, that was quick." Yeah, well, you slept for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on their phones or watching a movie the whole time, which is fine.
Yeah,
But
like, wow, that went fast.
yeah, but I have to thank hockey for making us who we are. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so we're the parents who get up early and, making sure our kids get to the rink on time. But thank you, hockey, for giving us this chance to spend the time with our kids to, help get them more disciplined and to teach them all that responsibility as well. You know what I mean? So, yes, thank you, parents. Thank you, hockey, for allowing us to be hockey parents. I love being a hockey parent. I just love it.
I'm loving it now too. I'll be honest with you, my kid's been really getting into goaltending, so that's changed my perspective. But here's a real, this spawned this question in my head. I would like your take on it, my friends. Can a non-hockey parent really ever enjoy fully what a cup of coffee is at that time of the morning? I don't know if you could fully understand the importance of coffee if you've never done that 4:30 a.m. drive.
Yeah, well, unless
you can't. No.
It's nectar of the gods.
But I think, yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, if you're a hunter, then you get the feeling of what it is to be a hockey parent. Sometimes I think it's just.
But you're going where you want to go.
Yeah, you want to go. Like this is why I get up. I'm ready to go. Like I'm raring to go, and I can't wait. And I think it is really cool when you see your kids wanting to get up too, and they're excited.
I love that. I love that.
I love the hypocrisy.
You're right. Monday rolls around and it's like,
school, it's so early. It's 3 hours later than we left yesterday. But that was different. I know.
It was funny. Different. You're right.
Funny. My wife, this is so true still. Like, every once in a while I'll play in a tournament or something will happen where I have to get up early for hockey. And I still hear it like, oh yeah, you'll get up early for that. And I'd be like, you're damn right I'll get up early for this. I enjoy that. Right. No, but
so we do have to say, and Caitlin reminded us, our producer, thank you, coffee.
Thank you, coffee. There we go. Thank you, coffee. I'll write another one.
Thank you, coffee.
Right?
We love you.
I want to thank the overzealous morning person that comes to the rink at 6 and is jumping up and down and has already done a workout for the day. As much as I want to thank the person that shows up with their eyes half closed and 4 scarves and is just ready to sit there and contemplate their life decisions. Thank you. Seriously, parents, thank all of you. Because usually you don't get the thanks from your kids till they're a bit older, but you're getting it from us today. It is, you know what? I'll say this to you, Christy, you've been it's worth the journey, right? It totally is worth it.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Yeah. Mike's in the middle.
I think of the friends that I've made, the bonds that we still have with so many parents. I mean, I have a squad, a mom squad. And we get together every month and we catch up on our kids, and our kids all play college hockey, but we're still the mom squad. And our girls have been playing, hockey since, when they were on the girls' team, when they were 12 and 13 years old, and we've just bonded. And we haven't stopped getting together every month and just keeping in touch with each other. It's just amazing, and hockey. Yeah, coffee and hockey. Yeah,
coffee.
We do. You
got a little accent there. You got a little Northeast accent. Coffee, hockey.
Coffee, hockey. You're all set.
Do you tell the mom squad about your pod squad?
They watch.
There you go.
So they're watching right now. Thanks, squad.
Thank you, mom squad. You. Yeah, appreciate it.
I bet you there are a lot of mom squads out there. I don't know if there are dad squads. Are there dad squads? Do you have dad squads?
I think we call it the pop squad, but that's all right.
Pop squads.
Yeah.
Dads don't talk to each other.
Could be a new podcast.
No, dads stay in the corner of the rink where nobody can look at them while they also contemplate their kids' decisions. That's a perfect segue into our last thank you here. Here we go. Thank you, Our Kids Play Hockey audience. You have invited us into your headphones and car stereos for 2 years straight and made us a top 10 hockey podcast in the nation. We cannot thank you enough for your trust, emails, and for listening to Lee monologue for minutes at a time. From our families to yours, thank you and happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, we love you. I love all the feedback we're getting. I love the emails. I love that people are getting in touch with me on Facebook. Hey, I listened to your podcast. They're messaging me. They're finding me on Instagram. And we've kind of become the Dear Abbeys sort of hockey as well.
Yeah.
There people are leaning into us and asking, hey, I got this situation. You talked a little bit about it, but can you tell me a little bit more on how I can deal with this? We really love this because we have all this experience. We want to share it with you. I mean, we don't have all the answers. We can just tell you about our journey, and hopefully it'll help yours.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest parts about this, this kind of forum we have, is because it helps us, and certainly me, reminds me of the things that I need to be really grateful of and happy for, and that it's not that, whether I think it's a horror show or not, during certain parts of the season, I'm like, well, it's really actually not that bad, and we get to hear from a lot of people that want us to know that they feel more normal. Like they're like, oh, okay, it's okay to feel like the anxiety, and it's okay to feel like I'm missing an opportunity for my kid, and we all feel that way, and it's okay to say, oh, right. I want to know why my kid's not getting more ice time than that kid. This is all very normal things we'd all do as parents, and I think one of the best parts about it is being able to talk about it, and then getting the feedback on the strategies that other people use so that we can use them too. I mean, I'll take that free advice any day.
I agree.
Yeah, and I'll say too that, I remember the first 6 months we did this, we got a lot of positive kind of like thumbs up type feedback, and then the emails started coming and in a good way. And that's when I realized, wow, we might really have something here. And Mike, just to echo what you said, a lot of them were based on just I'm so glad to know that there's other people out there going through what I'm going through, feeling what I'm feeling. And that was really the goal of the podcast. And again, all three of us as a team get a lot of emails, and as individuals get a lot of emails and texts. And we just try and share our resources and our advice the best that we know how. But there really is no show without you listening. So we really want to thank all of you for that, and really the trust too. We are just three people at various stages of our hockey parentum. And the truth is there's a massive community out there, and we're just part of that as well. So really want to thank you for inviting us into your homes and into your headphones and your cars. And I know some of you listen to this with your kids, which I think is fantastic. So thank you all for that. I also just want to quickly thank Christy, Mike, and Caitlin, our producer, for doing this every week. Again, this is a consistent every single week thing that we do. And you guys are my really good friends. And I really am thankful, not just as a podcasting host, but as a hockey parent. Your experiences have made my journey, I think, much, much easier. I really mean that.
I wish I had this when I was just starting out. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. It would have avoided a lot of anxiety and stress and uncertainty. So here we are for you guys. Reach out to us. We're your friends. You think of us as your advisors, whatever you want to think of us. Yeah.
Dear Christy.
Man, I wish I had this podcast when I started out. It would have really helped a lot, because it's a lot of crap you go through, man.
I sincerely mean it to both of you. It's really been great for me. Mike, I know you've shared those sentiments before too, even where you're at with your kids, but it's been a gift personally, professionally, and as a parent. 3 P's in a row. That sounds really smooth the way I said that. I'm just kidding.
Love alliteration.
I do too. It's the broadcasters. It is.
Bravo.
And then, let's get Caitlin on here real quick, which probably doesn't want to, but we got to thank Caitlin for our producer for editing and putting every one of these up online and making sure that you hear us every week. We just talk. It's mostly me. And Caitlin is supporting us. There she is. Caitlin, sorry to put you on the spot.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Caitlin, thank you so much for everything. All right.
Yeah, and the best is when you just send her emails and it miraculously
gets done.
An invitation and people come on.
Yeah. You might not know this, listeners, but this is a 4-person team at least. So just Caitlin, I wanted to make sure sorry to put you on the spot. Thank you so much for everything that you do for the show.
Thank you guys for providing this for people, because this is fantastic. So
yeah. Oh, you get an eye out of Christy.
Us look fancy.
Yeah. You always look fancy in a good way, Christy, but that's good. No, listen, that's going to do it for this episode. Sincerely, from the bottom of our hearts, we wish all of you nothing but the best Thanksgiving with your family. If you're doing a Thanksgiving tournament, God bless you. Good luck. Have fun. We hope your kids enjoy it. And as we step into the holiday season, literally next week, we want to wish you the best. We're going to be here every week throughout the rest of the year. You can look forward. We've got 2 episodes coming up with Coach Pete Whitney. He's going to be answering a lot of questions about NCAA hockey and then starting a program from scratch. Those episodes are already ready to go. So tune in next week. And remember, everybody, now that you're listening to this, it's gift giving season. The 4 of us, we put together some really great gift deals, kind of inspired by the show for you, your hockey player, and or your team. So if you're interested in looking for that, email us directly at team@ourkidsplayhockey.com. We'll send you a link to all the deals, or just go to ourkidsplayhockey.com. They're there as well. But if you're looking for some options to save yourself money, check that out. Again, the 4 of us put that together for you. No obligation, but we appreciate you checking it out. And of course, the biggest gift you can give this crew is a thumbs up, a follow, a subscribe, a share, and letting all the other hockey parents out there it doesn't need to be a secret, right, Mike? You can share this podcast with the other hockey parents out there in your team snaps or bench apps or whatever you use to continue to spread this community, because that's what we're trying to do. So that's going to do it for me. I'll say thank you one more time. I'll give you both any final words before I do my loop-de-loop close.
I appreciate my team here. This is just such a great team. You inspire me. You make me just keep my spirits up, and my confidence about hockey is so much more because of all that we do here every week. So, it can get discouraging. I gotta be honest with you. There are times when you read about things going on in the hockey world, and it's discouraging and upsetting, and especially if it's something that you love so much, like we do. And then we get together and it seems like the world is right again. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate you too, Christy. Mike, quick Michael Bonelli, goodbye.
Thanks for the opportunity. And I should say thanks to my kids too, that listen to this podcast. And I use them as examples probably more often than I should. And for them putting up with it and, having to deal with, I'm sure they get a lot of eye rolls in the locker room and, like, oh, this guy again. Oh boy, my father said that this guy said this. So, and I get it, but really, you got to thank these kids for putting up with parents sometimes, and remembering that number one, and just like we tell everybody, right? When you see your kid, you just tell them how much you love them and how much you love watching them play. And if you can do that part, then the rest of it comes easy.
Caitlin, you got anything?
Fantastic. Come on, Caitlin.
Caitlin's like, I just want to edit this and get it out already.
No, like I said, I want to thank you guys for doing this show every week and providing this knowledge for hockey parents out there. I think what we do here is fantastic, and it's well needed. So, yeah.
Well, there you have it. That's it for the crew tonight. I'll get out of here quick. That's Christy Cascio, Burns, Mike Bonelli, and Caitlin Reese. I'm Lee Elias. Check out ourkidsplayhockey.com for every episode we've ever done, or check out whatever podcast platform you listen to us on. We're on everyone. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week on Our Kids Play Hockey. Take care. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. Make sure to like and subscribe right now if you found value wherever you're listening, whether it's a podcast network, a social media network, or our website, ourkidsplayhockey.com. Also, make sure to check out our children's book, When Hockey Stops, at whenhockeystops.com. It's a book that helps children deal with adversity in the game and in life. We're very proud of it. But thanks so much for listening to this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey, and we'll see you on the next episode.